Now on CoastTV News.
Memorial Day weekend on the coast.
Well, these next few months means a lot.
What businesses expect this weekend and what locals plan to do. Memorial moments.
We want to honor them for the sacrifice that they made.
2 powerful ceremonies across Sussex County set to honor those who gave everything.
And your weekend plans will be accompanied with wonderful weekend weather.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
American Legion Post 17 in Lewis, the ways they're preparing to honor our fallen heroes. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our news at 6. We begin tonight with Memorial Day ceremonies that you can attend this weekend. The Georgetown Circle is covered in waving symbols of our nation ahead of upcoming Memorial Day events. Coast TV reporter Zakiya Jennings shows us how local organizations on the coast are working to remind everybody that Memorial Day is more than just a 3-day weekend.
American flags blowing in the wind on the Georgetown Circle. This is where a Sussex County tradition will take place on Sunday at 1:30 p.m.
What we're talking about is a service basically remembering those who did not make it, those who died in service of the nation.
Holland Van Valkenburg is a veteran and a member of the Georgetown Kiwanis Club, one of the co-sponsors for the Sussex County Memorial Day service. He says Memorial Day is personal to him.
We want to honor them for the sacrifice that they made, intentional or otherwise. Sometimes they volunteered, sometimes, they were drafted.
This isn't the only ceremony taking place that will honor our fallen heroes. Mert Foos with the American Legion Post 17 in Lewis says for the first time, a service will be held at the Delaware Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Millsboro. That's scheduled for Sunday at 10 a.m.
It is the support for everybody, and I think it gives people a way when they come with others who are facing the same walk and journey of trying to recover and move on from that.
American Legion Post 17 will be hosting a Veterans Tribute Parade on Monday. Foos says she wants everyone to enjoy their weekend, but to do one thing before they spring to the beach.
Take a moment of pause, look at an American flag, make sure you get a poppy, and say thank you for your service.
A simple gesture to honor a debt that can never be repaid. In Sussex County, Zakiya Jennings, Coast TV News.
And now let's take a look along the coast with the start of the summer-like season pretty much here. Now, let's see. People are making their way in. You can see big lines of traffic there. And here is a look on Route 1. These were the conditions a little bit before the start of our newscast. A lot of travelers will be hitting the road to enjoy the beach this weekend. Speaking of travel, heads up, if you're going to use the DART services, well, that changes on Memorial Day. The agency says in Sussex County, beach bus services and Route 305, that will be running. Paratransit will also provide ADA-only service, but everything else is shut down. We mentioned it already, Memorial Day weekend marks the unofficial start to the summer here along the coast. Every year, people flock to and feel the sand between their toes, and they hear the waves crashing in their ears. As Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, businesses and visitors are ready to kick off the season.
The sun rising over the Atlantic Ocean. That beauty is one of the many reasons visitors go to Rehoboth Beach every summer, usually starting right around Memorial Day weekend. Shandy Ruffner is one of those visitors excited to kick off her summer on the coast.
This weekend we're going to have some good food hopefully, and looking for a good place to have some crabs. We're going to maybe go out on a friend's boat to Saturday, tomorrow, and then do some shopping, walking around to the local shops and see what they have.
And for her, that first stop was at Coffee Mill, a longtime Rehoboth Beach business. Co-owner Mel Damascena says his business needs summer a latte.
Well, these next few months means a lot, that not just for us, but for everybody. This is the time that we are here, that we gotta make it.
Last year, Coast TV reported that there was actually a downward trend of people flocking here to Rehoboth Beach, with the lowest number of hotel room bookings in more than a decade. But Damascena feels like it gets busier every year.
Even when it's raining, they come in for coffee. Coffee is good any day of the week. And they go shopping. They go to the boutiques. They find something to do. They go to restaurants. So, and the business in town need that because the off season is long.
While the boardwalk was just beginning to wake up here and the beach was still quiet, those scenes will look very different over the next few days. In Rehoboth Beach, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Meanwhile, here in Milton, my Coast Life cohorts were out and about today getting a feel for what locals say they plan to do the next few days.
Oh, it's my birthday, so we're going to go out for dinner and we're going to be on the beach and do some fishing.
Well, I'm doing a little fishing now, grill out, have some fun.
Actually going to go to my sister's for a barbecue.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Be with the family and a new baby.
And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how are you spending Memorial Day weekend? Let's take a look at the updated results from the first news hour. Pretty similar here. Looks like 70% staying at home, actually. 18% say that they will honor deceased military. 7% saying family time or trip beach time, getting just 5%. If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at coasttv.com or use the mobile app, and we will show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11. We're taking a live look into Rehoboth Beach right now, and maybe this is the calm before the storm, and I don't mean the actual storm, I mean the storm of people, the crowds. We need to check in with the man who knows about real storms, our first alert chief meteorologist, Paul Williams.
Well, you know what, Charlie? I would say this is the calm before the crowd. Yes. That would be the way I'd put it. The calm before the crowd, because when the crowd gets here, it's party time. All right, let's take a look at our Memorial Day weekend forecast. Listen, for Saturday, we are expecting 70 degrees, mostly sunny skies, but it's going to be breezy because we're actually going to be dealing with possibly gale and force winds along the beaches. You do need to wear your long sleeve, even though it's going to be bright and sunny. Long sleeves are recommended because it's going to be a significant chill in the air and outside on the beach. Sunday, sunny skies, possibility of afternoon and evening showers, clouds, and 72 degrees. I'm already thinking about going to the weekend already. That's why I can't focus right now. Okay, so Memorial Day, 73 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and much more pleasant conditions. In fact, out of all 3 days, Monday's actually the best day, the pick day out of the 3. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. Improving over the holiday weekend, slightly milder for Memorial Day, okay? And last but not least, rain threat holds off till we get to, let's say, next Tuesday and Wednesday and all of that. So enjoy your weekend. More on your full forecast coming up in a moment. Till then, back to you, Charlie.
Thank you, Paul. Some of our viewers might remember this story, but back in January, Bethany Beach announced that some water in the town was showing up brown. Bethany officials said that it's a result of the 30-year-old water clarifier that they're stuck with. But tomorrow, people who live in Bethany have an opportunity to change that with a vote. The ballots that people cast will determine if Bethany can take a $3.9 million loan from the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. That money would be used to complete a new clarifier and other water system upgrades. We now turn to health news. A new report published this month reveals mixed results when it comes to hospital safety here on Delmarva. The report, created by the Leapfrog Group, uses data from hospital surveys and other sources to grade eligible hospitals twice a year on how well they keep patients safe. Safety grades are determined by more than 30 measures, including infections, safety, preventative practices, surgical outcomes, and staffing. 5 hospitals on Delmarva received A's in this report. And on your screen now is a map of the hospitals: Tidal Health Nanticoke, Peninsula Regional, Atlantic General, and both Christiana Care hospitals upstate. And as you can see right now on coasttv.com, we have an article detailing all of the data. There are lots of numbers, so we've created interactive graphs and charts to look at different issues for each hospital on Delmarva. That helps provide a little bit of a more clear picture into each safety rating. Thousands of birds were rescued from a shipping mishap in Delaware, and now they have a new home. Earlier this month, nearly 12,000 were stranded at a distribution center. The First State Animal Center and SPCA says all the survivors that were brought to them were adopted. The group says it still has not reached an agreement on fair compensation from the Delaware Department of AG for caring for the overwhelming number of birds. It plans to end its agreement with the department June 1st if they can't come to some sort of agreement there. An update to a story we first brought you here on Coast TV News at 6. We now know the name of a man killed in a deadly car accident earlier this week. According to DSP, 19-year-old Charles Williamson of Dagsboro was killed in a two-car crash Tuesday night. Troopers say Charles was driving a Lincoln and heading west on Hollyville Road when he crossed into the east lane and hit a Cadillac. The 52-year-old woman and her passenger in the Cadillac were taken to the hospital, both with non-life-threatening injuries. And there was a crash in the area of Coastal Highway and 137th Street today. It happened around 9 a.m. as we take a look from our Coast Copter. Police tell us that 3 cars and a box truck were involved. No serious injuries reported in this one. That's good news. However, several trees were hit during the crash, and a hazmat team was actually called out because one of the vehicles was leaking gas. The cause of the crash still under investigation there in Ocean City. As Delaware beaches fill up this Memorial Day weekend, it's not just people flocking to the coast. The DuPont Nature Center held its first public presentation of the season today, educating visitors and locals about the ancient horseshoe crab and shorebirds that return to the shoreline. Officials say public awareness is key to preserving these vital and long-surviving species.
They really help out humans as well in like the biomedical industry, and so since they're helping us out, I mean, it's really good for us to educate and give back to them by making sure they can live their best life out in the water.
Each spring, tens of thousands of horseshoe crab lay millions of eggs along Delaware Bay, home to the largest population on the East Coast. We're just getting started. A young seal released back into the sea. What makes this release unique for the National Aquarium?
And if going outdoors is your plan, then you're in store for a wonderful weekend weather pattern to make your plans go off without a hitch.
But first, it's Friday. We've got all the cool things to do this holiday weekend. We're back in 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
It's a big weekend for beach trips and barbecues, the unofficial start to summer, but don't forget, Memorial Day is also a time to remember those who gave their lives serving our country. Coast TV's Christina DiRoberta shows us meaningful ways to honor them and enjoy a long weekend.
Pay tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice at a few locations this Memorial Day weekend. In Millsboro, a ceremony will be held at the Veterans Cemetery Sunday at 10 a.m. Then on Sunday at 1 p.m., a solemn salute at the Firefighter Memorial on the Ocean City Boardwalk with a wreath laying and flyover. And at 1:30, a Memorial Day ceremony on the Georgetown Circle. It will be led by members of the National Guard. Also happening this weekend, the 10th annual Poseidon Festival returns to Bethany Beach with pirates and mermaids all weekend long, and Zelke's will host its first ever beach ball drop at noon Saturday to ring in the unofficial start to summer. For more details, just visit coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Here's a look at your golf forecast. Tomorrow's going to be a lot better, a lot brighter, a lot drier, so we're going to call it good. Sun and clouds, but still on the breezy side, so you're going to need the long sleeves. All of your Memorial Day weekend festivities should go without missing a beat, without a problem from Mother Nature as far as any kind of precipitation is concerned. However, it will be a bit on the breezy side, and although we'll have an abundance of sunshine, a bit of a chill will be in the air because of the winds, adding that little layer of things of concern. We're a bit cloudy right now in Lewis, but fear not, my friend, the sun shall arrive eventually over the weekend. We're at 67 degrees, actually a beautiful sight right here throughout Lewis. Now, we will drop down to 60 degrees by 10 o'clock, mostly clear skies. We're in the 60s now. For example, 65 degrees in Milton as well as Bridgeville. We're holding at 66 degrees in Dagsboro and Millsboro, as well as Georgetown, Seaford, and in Laurel. The winds right now are pushing out of the west primarily between, let's say, 8 to up to 17 mile per hour gusts. But that's going to pick up momentum. I mean, we have concerns for very gusty winds along the shore for us, for the Lewis beaches, as well as over towards Cambridge. So it's going to stay very blustery along the beaches. Part of that is due to this trough, which is kind of an elongated area of low pressure, but it's not powerful or it's got enough chutzpah about it to kick off and create some showers. But it has created enough cloud cover, and that's that overcast view that we're seeing right now. But that will come to an end because that trough's getting off of the off of the shore, and it'll open up to clear skies tonight with winds out of the west, 6 miles per hour. But notice we're going to all drop into the lower 50s. Now, this is going to be a chilly low 50s, okay? Wear the long sleeves. The winds are going to not be so friendly for Saturday, okay? But it's still going to be sunny and bright and nice. Then on Memorial Day, not as windy, a little bit warmer and a little bit milder is what we're expecting. You see, Saturday, going into Sunday and Monday, we're looking for sun and clouds and a mixture of the two. Low pressure to our south, high pressure to our north, but the high pressure system will have more of a dominance here and just kind of push this thing down to the south and keep it away from us. If not, it could turn into a little nasty nor'easter. And who wants that for their weekend? I don't, and I know you don't. 72 Lewis and Georgetown with winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. We should pop at about 70 degrees in Cambridge. And if you have celebrations near Ocean City or Chincoteague, we will be into the 70s there as well. So along the coast, we're looking forward to stay near the 70-degree mark with increasing sunshine for everybody. So even as we kind of run through the timeline here through Sunday, we're not seeing any green. We're not seeing any rain. The winds are going to stay active, and we talked about that. They'll start swirling. But along the beaches, we're looking for clear skies. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, clear of rain in Ocean City and Fenwick Island. Same holds true for us actually in Lewis. And then we begin to take a look at what's happening with our 7-day forecast. Listen, we won't worry about rain again until the middle of next week. How's that for a bargain for you?
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Yes, another special day at Stephen Decatur High School. Let's show you another siren blaring send-off in Berlin. This time, it's softball that took the trip across the Chesapeake for the program's first state title appearance. The Hawks hit the road at 12:30, and both students and family members came out to cheer on the girls. Decatur has made this trip to the Final Four before, most recently falling in the 3A semifinals 2 years ago. Head coach Scott Kurtz and seniors Ava Snellsire and Riley Smith share their emotions if this bus returns with some hardware.
We've had the bus ride home so many times it was on the wrong side. I don't even know what would happen to me emotionally or physically, but I can't wait to find out.
I've literally dreamed of this since we were little. Like we said, we all grew up playing Little League together, and if we pull it off, I don't know the feelings, but it's just crazy to even think about.
Not many teams can say that they know when it's going to be their last game, and we can say that this is our last game, and it'd just be amazing to go and get that state championship title.
Our team has live coverage right now on our social at Delmarva Sports. That for sports, let's go to Decatur.
The youngest seal ever in the National Aquarium in their care has successfully been released back into the sea. This is Arcadia. At just a few weeks old, she was stranded in Ocean City, taken to receive care in Baltimore for her injuries. That was back in March. While in care, she recovered, learned how to swim and forage for fish on her own. On Thursday, she was released at Assateague Island State Park.
Congratulations to her. All right, our Ocean City view, dry tech, 66 degrees. We're going to stay in the 60s till about 10 o'clock, and that's when we'll fall into the 50s under mostly clear skies. The thick cloud cover you see right here, that's actually going to clear out for us, so don't let that spook you. Margaret Delaney of Lewis, congratulations. You're our winner, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. If you want to keep up with your forecast, call our weather line. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Bruxett, Mendalis, and Federico. Finally, here's a look at your 10-day forecast. Clear skies for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but it will be breezy, particularly Saturday going into early Sunday. After that, it'll be much more amicable.
All right, Paul. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The NBC Nightly News is next, and we will see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.